So I'm not going to actually tool that one because we'd have to trace it out on this film and then transfer it on.
How do you get it? Once you lay that on, what are you doing?
Once you lay that on, you just take your stylus layout tool,
Pushing on it.
and you just kind of push it down. I don't know if this was quite wet enough to see it on the other side. We'll soon know.
Yeah, you can kind of see there. Then you
And
start
then you
working.
then you would start cutting that, yeah. But what we've done is, if there's one we do a lot, and we do this a lot with our students, so to make it fast, we've made what's known as a tap off. This just speeds it up.
Okay.
It's in reverse. It's been carved backwards, so that when you put it on your piece, you can take a tap off hammer or hammer, and it's just tapping it off of one. Onto the other.
Pretty cool.
So now it's ready to do all the.
So that's just a normal
It's
indentation there you can see in the film.
yeah. So what we do is we cut it with a swivel knife in reverse. This is our swivel knife. This is just a stropping board. It's just a jeweler's rouge, just a polishing compound that we put on a piece of leather.
So what is that on there?
And this is a jeweler's rouge. It's just a polishing compound,
Okay.
and it just polishes your blade and helps keep burrs and keeps it sharp.
Okay.
So I'm going to carve this all with the little knife, but
Should come to the other side.
it might work better for this part of it. And this is where it'll get complicated because I'll be all over. So I'm going to cut my first. I like to cut my straightest lines. And as you get to doing this, lines just kind of become nothing more than a guideline or suggestion.
Is that actually cutting the leather, or is
Yeah,
it just pushing
it's
it?
no, it's actually cutting it.
Okay.
It is a knife. It's sharp enough that it'll
Peel your fingernail.
it'll cut you if you get in the wrong spot. So now we have stuff that's closest to us, and then stuff that progressively gets farther back.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to cut everything that's closest to us first.
Okay.
We do that just because we kind of like to tool it that way, and it helps us get in our mind what's up, what's down, forward, backwards. So this flower, your flower is your biggest focal point, so you're going to want it to be the closest to you. So we're going to start on a flower. So I'm going to start right here, and this comes in like this, and it comes around, and then as I get to the end here, I lighten up. On the tap off, I went dark and deep all the way, so it gives us our mark. Called a swivel knife because it swivels.
Yeah, I was just noticing that.
And that allows you to make those fine cuts. pattern calls for cam tools. So this is a camouflage tool. And really all these do is give it a little degree of depth and contrast. And so this is what it looks like when it's all done. I'll go ahead and do this one real quick. That's, and you notice this one has a solid circle. This one has a fluted. Mm-hmm. They're virtually the same tool, just different effects.
Yeah.
It's like when people come to visit and the kids won't be nice or
They're fine.
This tool we'll use on the corner,
Mm-hmm.
so it gives it a dark impression, but it's not mashing all of our lines out.
Yeah.
What that also helps it do is it helps create the effect of roundness in that stem. Our goal is to try and keep them the same distance apart, rotating the tool with the curve that we're working with. So now we're going to come in with a pear shader. And somewhere I've lost some of my examples, but the pear shader just gives it shading. It's like with pencil you can darken spots. When this is cased right, this is where you get this color. It allows your tool to burnish. For example, well, that one's fairly, still got a little moisture in it. This one hasn't been wetted at all.
Yeah.
You can see the difference in those colors versus even.
Yeah.
That's what casing does. It's what gives it a burnish, and it gives it the color and the depth that it needs. So now, same thing. We're starting with our flower because it's kind of the first and foremost that we see. So what we're trying to do is make a flat object, flat piece of leather, have some shape where it would look like the flower raises up, goes down.
Yep.
By doing that. Gives our petals or stickers some life. Kind of almost looks like, helps it to look like it's folding over itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and bevel all of it. So, what the beveler does is it helps lift up the foreground and push back the background part of it down. So we want our flower to be up the farthest. So we're going to start by beveling it so that everything is beveled down. And what we're doing is, like, when it comes around here, we lighten up. And so it looks like that, where it just kind of fades out.
Yep.
Same thing here. We want this to be up, but we want this flower to look like it's ahead of this.
Okay.
So we're going to just go ahead and if we wanted to change it a little bit to a little different, which I think I actually did in this other one of those examples there, is I tooled this so it looked like it went over top of that flower. So you can do that also. So I'm going to grab this little pear shader, which is just a line pear shader, and we're going to come in here on that line that we didn't cut.
So here's the finished product on the beveling.
Now we'll go ahead and put in some veiner work and some cedars. This is a veiners. These will be our cedars. Kind of how we'll put them in.
Okay.
Same thing with this tool. You're just trying to keep the same angle as you go around.
Put in all this detail.
Now we're going to come back in here, put in our seed pods. We're going to put one right here. Kind of fill that in, and then
went in. That's pretty cool.
Now it's for the long drawn out dreaded backgrounder everybody don't like.
It takes forever.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Okay,
so.
I'll pause and come back.
Yeah, my friends, they have,
So what did you call that?
Backgrounder.
Backgrounder.
This is a bar grounder. Because it's just a bar with dots on it. Then they also make what they call a matting style backgrounder that does that background right there. It's much easier for beginners to use because you can just bap it
This is just a weight.
and just
Hold it in
wait to
place.
hold it in place. So like this backgrounder, you can go over top of itself and it doesn't look bad. A bar grounder, if you do that, it'll just
Kind of mash
mashes
it all up.
all up. Yeah.
So is that finished?
All but one little deal. Now we're gonna go in. We gotta put in what we call our decorative cuts. Go back to our swivel knife, and that just allows places for oil to get to, things of that nature. Actually, I was gonna show you some mule feet too. We ought to put them in real quick.
Mule feet?
Mule foot. It just closes up an area where a line stops.
Oh yeah.
This pattern's got a lot of vine or camouflage stuff, so it's not quite as. But you can put those in those spots like that just to stop or end.
Yeah, so that line
This line comes down. This line here
down,
comes in.
you end it with 3 mule feet.
Yeah, 3 to 4, 5, 6, whatever you feel like. So now our swivel knife cuts. Now this is where we're going to put in decorative cuts, finger cuts they're called, and it allows you to kind of make the pattern yours too if it's something you're following with somebody else.
So you just put those 2 lines in,
Yeah,
just to add some detail.
yeah. When you get ready to dye this, it helps hold your let dye work down in or a finish, and it just helps highlight.
Add some more detail to it.
Yeah. This little swivel knife, to me, is the most important tool that anybody can learn to operate. Because without it, you can't make a lot of it look very cool. But you couldn't do any of what we've done so far without this.
So adding those lines.
There's 3 there, yeah. And we'll add one here. And then we're going to go ahead and do something here in the flower. So we can put 2 lines so it kind of looks like that. And we can come in here and put in some.
So you just added some lines in there.
Yeah. These lines right here just to give it some more texture.
finished product.
Yeah. Now that could go on a wallet, checkbook cover, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can add letters, you can add brands, you can move stuff around, and you just kind of work with it however you want. So,
Do we want to wrap up by showing me just a few of the things you got around here that you've done like those?
yeah, well, I was trying to decide whether to send you pictures of them or if I can show you some of what we've got. Let's go over here.
Okay. Oop, back out of here.
So, rifle slings,
Take that box lid down so it'll stay. So there's
and belts.
770.
This here would be a basket stamp belt.
75,
Okay.
48, 49.
And this is a flower carved with basket stamp with a hair inlay.
You bet.
Hmm. What kind of hair is that?
No, just a cow,
Well,
cow
a
of
lot
some
of it's
kind.
like thinking in
Okay.
my head how I can design it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And then
but it did take me a good portion of the day.
these here are a pair of remade shaps that were off of a pattern from H&H Heiser in Colorado. The pattern was 100 years old that
I was
we
able
made
to
them off
cut it
of.
on there, a bone sugar.
A lot of stamping on there around the belt.
Yeah.
There, so it's not like it was
There's about 8 hours in each leg putting those spots on.
Those, what are they? Rivets or something?
Well, they fold over. They're just
Oh,
little
I see.
clamped deals and fold on. These were quite interesting. They're all done by
Until the
hand.
unveiling. Yep.
So,
Hope you have a good birthday. How old are you today?
50.
Awesome. Big 50.
Yep.
this is
Mark's
a
getting 50.
saddle we made.
A lot of tooling.
Yeah.
How long does it take to make a saddle like that?
40 hours to
All
build
right.
one
There you go,
plane
ma'am.
if everything
Thank you.
goes
Tell
right.
your mama thank you.
Stamped, probably 60. And then I've got some pictures on my phone of some that we did that
Forgot
were
where you came?
flower carved and stamped bow. So, this is a combination stamped and flower carved breast collar. This is a cell phone case that you can hang on your saddle if you want. It's buck stitched. That's all I got in the shop. Oh, here's a headstall that my son did for a leather show in Sheridan. He drew all the flowers, tried to do a California style. 16-year-old did that.
Cool.
So
What else? We do a lot of repair that's in.
Saddle repair.
These were the old original stirrup leathers. They dry rotted and broke out. And so we're in the process of attaching these new ones. Here, and then they'll go back in the saddle.
Back up in there.
So we had to dismantle it. There's some a piece that's broke in here that I've got to cut and make a new one to go in. Yeah, we're just this saddle, or that saddle over there is in for new Stewart leathers. Just sky's the limit.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
You betcha.
Appreciate it. Looks like it takes a lot of time and patience.
Yeah, it's not something that comes overnight. You can't go to a school and just learn it. It's stuff that comes with experience too. So.
Okay. Well, I'll send the kids to your Facebook site, Cow Camp Saddlery, and wrap that up. Thanks for coming on this field trip, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We're here in Lusk, Wyoming.